Okay, I lived in Jackson, Mississippi at this time when Dr. King and the civil rights leaders um, was going forward, and we listened to it on radio. That I didn't have a TV, but some people did. We didn't get involved with the movement like the march and all that kind of stuff, but we would listen to it.
You're listening to what's happening.
What was happening, and I was glad for it to come forward like that. My husband he walked when they did the boycotting of the what you call that of the buses, bus boycott. He walked downtown and stuff like that to work, but we couldn't get really involved with it. But it made me feel good because it had started, because of some things that we had been through in the South. My family was sharecroppers, and we experienced a lot of things that it's no fun to talk about. But when the civil rights movement came through, it really gave me some hope. And like I say, we didn't get involved with the march and everything, but we were more like pushing it with prayers and Christian. We were Christian people and all that stuff, excited about it, and with the schools and all that. It made a difference. The one most I remember that really was I was working for the lady that the sharecropper people, and I would go up to on the weekend or some days during the week to help her do house chores and stuff like that, and things that happened that I didn't like, but it was what it was. Yet you dealt with what was going on, okay? And her husband came in one day. He said, "Mary, you know one thing? Uh, a black woman can do more work than a white man." I was about 18 years old. And he said, "And a black man can do much work as a mule." Well, I didn't smile. I didn't say anything. I worked for him. I was on the quiet side. And that scarred me. It gave me something like, hey, I'm going to work smart instead of hard. And we were very independent people. We did work hard. I still believe in working hard. But I don't like to be, I didn't think that was a compliment. I got it as he said it like a compliment. Oh, wow. And that followed me up until now. I didn't like that. My dad taught us to always make things work, to give an honest day's work, and um, he just taught us how to do things, accept facts, and, you know, deal with problems, you know. It's kind of hard for me to tell the story, but it was just the way we were. It was a bunch of us. I don't want them to feel like I'm doing it to be praised. I work for myself, and I don't want people to tell me, "Oh, you did a good job." It's okay to be complimented on the job, but to say that you are better because you work harder, that's what I got from it. And it followed me up until now. I even told my children the same thing. You work smart. You don't work to get praised, be a good person because you work hard. For me to talk about, uh, I wasn't in slavery time, but me to talk about the civil rights movement and the thing that we went through, it was still a lot of evil intent and stuff going on. We were still being used, overworked, underpaid, all that stuff. Okay, when I was in Mississippi, I lived there for all my life, and but when I moved to Kansas, I thought it was going to be different. I really thought things were going to be better, but it was different. It wasn't any better. It just I had more contact because on in the when I lived on the farms, like we had our own thing. You kept your privacy, or you worked by yourself, or whatever. But when I came to Kansas and got a job, I had to work with people. I had lunch with them. I didn't, because we were still down there. We were segregated. Up here I worked with the white people, and the things they said on the job and things they did. It was so different to me. I said, oh wow, Kansas is no better than Mississippi. Everybody think Mississippi was just whatever, but it was. I found out Kansas and other states that I have visited is just as bad as Mississippi, you know. But wherever you're treated unfair, it's unfair. I don't care what state you live in. And to hear the people tell me here in Kansas, oh, they expect you to do more, it wasn't no fun to me. I was disappointed, you know. I was disappointed. Although I could live right next door to my neighbors, could be white. Kids went to the schools. We was all mixed races and all that stuff. All that good stuff they said was going on. But I was disappointed in the way we were treated in Kansas, especially with the workload. I thought when Dr. King, I was so excited when Dr. King in the civil rights movement, you know, came along. I knew he wasn't going to cure it, solve all the problems, but it gave you that desire is to keep pushing on. You don't look back. You don't look back. You keep pushing, cause see, the race ain't given unto the swift, not the battle unto the strong, but the one that endureth. You got to endure this thing, and it's not gonna end now. It's just you can't stop. You got to keep the hope. And when he was saying those songs, I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. And one day my little children is gonna, you know, have a whatever he said. I probably can't say it the precise words he said, but the dream that he had, and it gave me a dream too, that one day things gonna be better. And Dr. Lewis and all of them, Dr. Lewis was just he was just too cool. I love that man yet, and I like him when he sing that song, happy, happy, and that's my song, because I believe he was happy because he had accomplished so much. He had given a life to the community and to the people, and he had finished what he had set out to do. And he's encouraging us to keep on pushing. Keep on. Yeah.
Good trouble.
Yeah. He called it, good trouble. And he said, if I can make it over that bridge, I know what is hope over that bridge. They was trying to, the story about all that stuff. Oh, yeah. One of my favorite leaders was John Lewis. Yeah. Because when I hear words of wisdom, it does something for me, And I'm more of a listener than I am a talker. But I love Dr. Lewis. John Lewis was his name, and it meant a lot to. Yeah, he was my boo, But I love me some John Lewis. I love them all, but it was just something about it. He just touched me. And I was in Memphis one time just on a vacation, and like a family reunion vacation. And I went to visit the places where he was assassinated, and to see all of that, oh my gosh, it was just so, oh wow, did this really happen? But you still can't stop, even though all that happened, because they want to if you can't go with fear. You cannot have fear. If you fear anything, you can't do it. And you have to watch out for that. We weren't, like I said, we weren't involved with too much of the activity of it, but we were standbys like prayer warriors. My dad was a prayer warrior. I married a praying man, and then we'd sing, we'd go to church, we did, and everything we could do for us on the spiritual side is to support the praying for our leaders, for them to go forward, you know, and it was, you have to, and then with the truth part of it, the fairness and the truth. I never could stand a liar. I never could. I don't know. People have to tell me the truth.
What's the power? What's so powerful about the truth, even if it hurts?
It'll set you free. You have to tell a person the truth if you want to help them. Even the Bible said the truth will set you free. The whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God, is what we're going to make it on. What if I tell you, hey, you go this way to get to the interstate, and I send you, and that's the wrong way. How you going to get there? If I tell you the wrong direction, if I tell you anything that's not true, it's not going to help you. You have to tell the truth on yourself. Even if when we were kids, my mom would say, "Did you do that? Or did you hit her? Or whatever?" And then she said, "If you tell the truth, you may not get in trouble, but you have to tell the truth even on yourself. You have to admit, oh yeah, I did it. I'm sorry I did it. And I didn't mean it that way. But don't lie and say you didn't do it." And I sit here and I remember a preacher preaching, "I'm looking back in order to go forward." And I said, okay. So you look back on what you happened, but you don't look back to to get afraid and say, well, oh, that was too much. I ain't gonna. You look back in order to see where you came from. I can look back right now and I can see how God blessed us here, how God blessed us here in Kansas. And when we came here with just a family and just a little bit of money in my sister's cars. But we got a job and we worked honestly and we trusted God, and look how He blessed us. That's why I can look back in order to keep going, because God made that way for us. We can do it by ourselves. That's another thing people do. They try to leave God out of it. Ain't no way in the world you can make it without God. And when you pray to Him, He will help you. And then you look around at people that's kids and things that's wandering around. Everybody wondering ain't lost. They just ain't ready to do right. You know. So when they get it together, and when you keep pressing forward, and when you keep trying, you keep being determined, then God would help you. You see. And like I say, it's hard for me to talk without preaching. When the scripture said, if you open the door, I'll come in. Jesus said, if you open that door, I'll come in. When I knock and you open the door, I'll come in. That door is your heart. And it's on the inside. of the door. When God come into you and he will teach you and he'll help you through these troubled times. He'll help you through the times that you don't really know what to do. And you look back and say, Lord, how did I make it? How did we do this? You know, how did you help me? He said, and it's just a blessing to know that these men, the civil rights movement, has changed so much. I can't even tell it all. I can't even tell you how I feel and how happy I am about these guys. I am a man. For you to get up there and say, I am a man, that's what another young man can say. I'm a man, you know. Oh, just look at here. You know, when I'm making the quilt here, I be saying, oh my gosh. And Rita knows all about who was who and all that stuff. Another thing, I remember, I saw this one about the bus. I remember one time I went up to my mom's and I caught the bus. It was two people on that bus besides the driver. It was a white lady and the driver. And she was sitting right behind the driver's seat. And I went on to the back and behind the curtain where I was supposed to go. I didn't like it, but I did it. You see? And you know who? It didn't bother me. I got where I was going. I wouldn't do it now, but you know, back then that was what was going. Things like that, little old stories I can tell. I don't like to tell them, but it happened.
But when you pointed to the Rosa Parks, so when you were used to it, you went to the back of the bus because that's what.
Yeah.
But when you started hearing about people protesting against that,
Yeah.
I'm just. Do you remember?
I was glad they was protesting it, but I didn't see how it was going to work. But right now, to see the outcome of it, to see how the progress we have made, it things that seem like these people say it's worse than it ever been. But you say, but I've seen a lot of progress in the thing. You know, like the when we were in the South, when I went to town and you saw colored, I went colored. It didn't bother me because that's where it was set up. That was where it was. But the movement changed that. I've never made a civil rights quilt before, but I'm having so much fun making it. And but to see all of this here and to see the pictures of what went on, you know, like that one is where he left the motel he was assassinated at. This is the funeral march. This is when he said, "I have a dream. I have a dream." In a bridge, where I said Dr. Lewis and was marching, trying to come across, I it made me think. It gives me deep thoughts from way back then. You think, that I was about 18 when this happened. Now I'm going almost 85. So I have remembered a lot, and some things that really, few things that I have kind of slipped my mind, but the good part of it, I will never forget this movement. Yeah, I will never forget it. Yeah, because he say, like Dr. King say, I've been to the mountaintop. I've seen the promised land. You know, and one day, all this is going to be over. And I'm glad I was part of it. I know I was part of it. I wasn't marching, but I sure was part of it. I was egging them on big time. And
Can you show how you do your stitching? Can we see some of your stitches and see you do some stitching?
you have to give me my deal over there.
Yeah.
It's right behind
Oh, here is that box.
that little box right there. Okay. This is my way I do this. After I take my little needle and my thimble and my finger guards like this, and then I I'm pretty sure I taught myself how to quilt now, okay? So I may not be doing this just right, but this is the way I do it. And then you put your little knot in your needle, in your thread. Let me see, can I find somewhere to sew? And then I put my hand under here and I poke that through there. And you want to sink that knot. You want to hide it. So your on the top would be kind of smooth and cool or whatever. And then you just keep doing that. Like that. And try to stay straight. Okay, when Dr. King was assassinated, I was here in Lawrence. And I was working somewhere up at one of the houses I was working. And one of the students came in and told me, Mary, Dr. King has been assassinated. And it was one of the worst feelings. But anyway, I don't remember too much after that. What happened after that, I remember the funeral and the the things that went on with the funeral, you know. But I wanted the people to keep the dream alive, you know. Don't stop dreaming. And don't stop dreaming. Don't stop hoping. And don't let what he did be in vain. Because the best thing a person can do is give their life for a friend. And he died on the battlefield. And I did go back to see some of the things that happened during time when he was killed, and it's no fun. But I still have that dream, and I will forever keep his dream alive. These people that not die in vain, I will always remember Dr. King.